Today is Friday, Parashat Vayakhel-Pikudei. The Shabbat is also called Shabbat HaChodesh because it is the Shabbat that precedes Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the beginning of the month of Nisan. Unfortunately, this Shabbat, our community and many communities all over the world will not be able to attend services in a synagogue, even though that is the right way to do it, to be in a synagogue with a minyan and reading the Torah. But in this case, we're actually fulfilling a mitzvah, the very important mitzvah of saving lives, of mitigating the risk. If we save the life or mitigate the risk to anyone to catch the disease, this will be a category of a mitzvah of great importance that would supersede the importance of being in a minyan in a synagogue and hearing the Torah being read from the Torah scroll. So we're actually fulfilling a mitzvah by listening to the Da'at Torah, the opinion of important rabbis who are following the information and the advice of the medical field. And the authorities also have made a declaration to stay home and safer at home, as they say. But interestingly, the parasha of this week speaks about 2 or 3 subjects. One of them is the conclusion of the building of the Mishkan, the sanctuary that traveled in the desert. Nowadays we have the synagogue as Mikdash Me'at, representative of that sanctuary or Bet HaMikdash. It represents also a forgiveness that Hashem has forgiven the Jewish people after the sin of the golden calf by symbolically giving them a home, a Mishkan for the divine presence to be in this world. But the parasha of Vayakhel begins with the mitzvah of observance of Shabbat. It says, Sheshet Yamim Te'aseh Melacha, for 6 days work shall be done, activities that are done throughout the week, are done through Sunday through Friday. Uvayom HaShevi'i, and the 7th day, Yeh Lachem Kodesh, it should be for you Kodesh, holy, Shabbat, Shabbaton L'Hashem. It should be a Sabbath for Hashem. And if the majority of both Parashiot, Vayakhel and Pikudei, refers to the sanctuary in the desert, the Mishkan, that was the precursor of the Bet HaMikdash, that speaks about the holiness and sanctity of place. The Kohanim could go only up in a certain area, not anybody. Only Kohen Gadol could go into the Holy of Holies only once a year on Yom Kippur. There was definitely a concept of holiness of place, of sanctity of place. The parasha precedes that whole subject with the idea of Shabbat, which has to do with sanctity of time. So we have sanctity of place, and we have sanctity of time. And it is as if the parasha wants to tell us, if we're not able to attend the sanctity of place of the synagogue, there is one thing that we definitely have, which is the Shabbat, that is an incredible gift that Hashem has given us for us to appreciate. And unfortunately, many places all over the world, people will not be able to go out. But in a sense, this will be a way for them to celebrate the Shabbat and give it what it deserves in a family setting, as giving it what it deserves in terms of the holiness and sanctity of time, enjoying a meal with Divrei Torah, with singing, with focus on the home, rather than sometimes, unfortunately, people go out and do all sorts of things of Shabbat, which could be better spent in the context of a family around the Shabbat table. And this Shabbat, in many places, this will be done for sure. So there's a silver lining there. If we can take this pasuk at the beginning of the parasha that indicates to us the sanctity of Shabbat, let's take it and make this Shabbat a special Shabbat to increase our merits. Because through the merits that we will have, it will be one more reason for Hashem to make this crisis go fast so that we can go back to normal times. So it's advisable that you pray at home, just like if you were praying in the synagogue, at the same time that the rest of the people will be praying if they were at synagogue. So this evening at 6:30, then tomorrow 8:30 in the morning, and the afternoon 6:45, so that even though we're not in the same place, the fact that we're praying at the same time, the prayer has more power to go in Shamayim with more strength, because it will be considered a tfilat Rabbim, a tfilah of the many, of a congregation, not just each on his own. So if we can try to keep the same time, and then also read the parasha of the week, spend the time that it deserves to read, to follow some of the commentaries, to read it if possible with the English translation if you don't understand Hebrew. Add the reading for Shabbat HaChodesh, which is the reading is on the book of Shemot, chapter 12 from 1 to 20. Is the section that tells us about the sanctity of time. It speaks about Chodesh Hazeh Lachem, Rosh Chodashim, that we give sanctity to Rosh Chodesh, and by that we will give sanctity to the times of the holidays. And it speaks about sanctifying time in general, to take time and give it a sanctified purpose. And Shabbat is one great occasion to do that. The festivals are an occasion to do that. But every day also you can take time and sanctify it. But Shabbat is a day that can shine its light to the whole rest of the week. So let's make this Shabbat a very special Shabbat, and maybe make a point to call a few people that maybe are at home by themselves, or people that are friends or relatives, and before Shabbat begins, call them and wish them Shabbat Shalom. These are very sweet words that unite all of Am Yisrael, wherever they are. The observance of Shabbat is a great gift that Hashem gave us, and it's something that unites all of us. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen, and Shabbat Shalom.